young people do come up to me sometimes and they'll be like, what should we do? Like sometimes little girls will come up to me and say, I want to act, and how did you get into it, and how should I do it? And I know it sounds cheesy, but I always tell them, like, you got to do what actually feels good to you. Like, you got to be yourself. You can't change yourself to try to get a part or something. Like, you have to be you, and you have to feel good about it. And I think that took me a while to learn, just because when you start auditioning at a really young age and you're pretending to be all these different characters and you're trying to get parts and things, it can kind of make it hard to figure out, even harder, I think, to figure out exactly who you are. So yeah, I'd say just always like follow your instincts, your gut instincts, and really listen to your heart. Even though that does sound cheesy, it's totally true. If a line you're saying or something doesn't feel right, you're probably right. Trust your instinct, because when I was little, so many times people around me would be like, no, it's turning out good, but I'd feel kind of weird about it. And then later when I would see it on TV, I'd be like, no, I could have definitely done that better. So yeah, I think just really trust your gut. And it's good to have people around you that you also trust to give you their advice. But in the end, I feel like you have to really believe that what you're doing is good for it to turn out right.
I've stayed true to the brand because I'm staying true to myself. So that means, like, if I am changing and if my life is changing and my beliefs are changing or my interests are changing, then the show is going to evolve with me. I think that sometimes creators have a hard time if they're stuck and pigeonholed into like with a younger demographic, they sometimes feel like they can't age. My daddy gang, my listeners, they have grown up with me, it feels like. And so it wouldn't be natural for me to continue to talk about something that happened in college. I'm 27 now. And so I think the evolution of Call Her Daddy is just what's happening in my life, because I know everyone else is also going through that process of aging and growing up. I am so specific when it comes to my collaborations. I have so many names thrown at me every day, and it's been really a learning process. I'm so grateful for every interview that I've done. I just started interviewing last year, so I was like, well, first of all, how do I interview? Like, what do I do? How do I interview anyone? And then I think I started to recognize everyone has a story, just like me. And I want to make sure that I'm giving my platform the space for people to come on and feel so comfortable, so confident, and safe to sit down with me and tell their story, because I know there's millions of people that are listening that will be able to find something they relate to. Even if it's a Miley Cyrus and it's like, I can't relate to Miley Cyrus, and they're like, oh shit, yes, I can. Or someone that's another podcaster that you may not know, and giving them the platform to be like, hey, this is my story. And then millions of people writing in being like, thank you for opening up and being vulnerable. I relate. You cannot try to copy. Everyone, I think there's such an oversaturation right now with regard to media, and everyone that's trying to create thinks, oh, well, I saw this working, let me do my own twist on it. The reason I truly believe Call Her Daddy became successful, of course, the content was chef's kiss, but it was also the behind the scenes that I tried to not talk about, was the amount of editing that went into this process. No one was doing that for a podcast. So like, I was trying to create a product that a millennial or a Gen Z would hear, and it's like, oh my God, this is so entertaining. Well, most podcasts are slow and you may fall asleep. Not Call Her Daddy. So I think the advice would be, you have to go with your gut on what you are passionate about, but do not copy others, because it's not going to flourish and it's not going to thrive if it's also not just genuinely what you are creating. Like, don't copy someone. Do what you envision yourself.